Say another song.
Hi, it's Mike Matthews, and this is Mike's Daily Podcast, episode 85 for Monday, August the 8th, 2011. That's 882011. And this show is brought to you by no one. If you would like to be a sponsor, feel free to email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. So yesterday I barbecued. I like that verb, so that's why it was used.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And we went to put the extra buns away in our bread box, and guess what was inside that place?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
A couple biscuits from a month ago. They were green as leprechauns with nowhere to go. So we threw them out, and it got me thinking that bread boxes are useless and completely stinking. I mean, if you have a hang-up about cold bread, then I guess the box is your root, but
Mike's Daily Podcast.
if you don't mind your bread cold and better, you can have a loaf last forever.
Mike's
So
Daily
wonderful.
Podcast.
Yum.
Yeah!
Yeah, so that's why, because growing up, my mom never put bread in the fridge. And you know what? All my sandwiches had like mold, fungus, and weird stuff growing on them. You know, my mom would be like, ha 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 ha, you know, that's where penicillin comes from. And I'm like, ha 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 ha, that's where it tasting bad comes from. Ugh. So that's why, oh, look who's coming in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino the Parking Attendant there.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Do either of you guys use bread boxes?
Only as a form of measurement.
Yeah, we'll sometimes say, hey, that's bigger than a bread box. Do you know that? Well, that's very helpful to tell people that. Did you know that? I knew that. Well, that's, who else is coming in? Hello, Monsieur, this is Madame Rootabega. Wow. And you know what? I've decided that you, Madame Rootabega, don't sound like Ariana Huffington. Tracy Ullman sounds like Ariana Huffington. She does like a incredible impression of her. I was watching some TV show on Hulu with her on it. It was amazing. Thank you, Monsieur. You're welcome. And do you predict that bread boxes will be used more often? Do you think people will start to prefer more cold bread or, moldy bread? Monsieur, I think that they will continue to enjoy the moldy bread because that is, in fact, where penicillin came from. Don't make fun of your mother. I'm sorry, Mom. Thanks for keeping me alive with all the penicillin you gave me.
Mike makes music.
Where do reality TV people go? Do they go to a land that is very far below? On every single station there's a million different shows, and most of them blow. What happened to Puck on The Real World on MTV? Well, no one gives a fuck, cause that was back in 93. And on The Biggest Loser, who remembers Olivia? She's a winner and we choose her and we find someone else to love. Why do we watch this sludge? As a nation we just won't budge. Where do reality TV people go? Do they try to get on some other really awful show? Then they try another and another till there's nowhere left to go. They go and live in Barstow. Finally that guy, Russell, he left the television. Although he made a fussle, Survivor said goodbye to him. And Bachelor, American Idol, Project Runway, for every TV screen there's a million shows a day. Why do we watch this sludge? As a nation we just won't budge. Where do reality TV people go? Do they go to a land that is very far below? On every single station there's a million different shows, and most of them blow.
So true. Let's go outside of The Last Place on Earth, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast. It's a song that I brought you today that I hope you enjoyed. Unless you are a huge fan of reality TV shows, then you're probably a bit upset. And to that, I take my hand and I pat you on the ever so gently on the back of the shoulders there and say, I apologize. That's okay. Reality TV shows are wonderful. Not really. The picture on the blog is of why I completely forgot. Let's play a game. You look at the picture and try and guess where it's from. Oh, yeah, it's from the Computer Museum. It says right there on the picture. That's in Mountain View. Right. And it's one of the first computers that used gears and such to make calculations. Pretty cool, huh? That's neat that they made that. And it's really old. It's like from the Renaissance era or something. I don't know. I took a computer class and I've since forgotten where that came from. But it fascinates me to no end. All right, to an end, because I can't remember that much. So there must have been an end somewhere. And there is an end somewhere to this show. So thank you for listening to it. And if you like the show, that's good, because it probably wasn't a very long show. It wasn't a very big show. It was probably just a little bit bigger than a bread box, but not too much. Because I hate those.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at podcast.blog.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!